Alright, coaster fans, let's talk about the newest coaster to come to one of my home parks. This is Invader at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. I got to ride it for the first time a little less than a month after it opened, and I gotta say, I really enjoyed this coaster. It's a great family ride, has lots of awesome elements, so let's get into talking about this. So Invader comes from GCI, Great Coasters International, and this is the only GCI in Virginia, and it's also Busch Gardens' first wooden roller coaster. So that's a big deal. They've been known for having steel coasters, and we finally have a wooden coaster. It's also fits that perfect spot in between Verbolten and Grover's Alpine Express, because it's a step up from Grover, but also Verbolten has a bit higher of a height requirement. So when you talk about coasters that truly everyone can enjoy, this is one of them. In the world of family coasters that I've ridden and ranking them, I would say this is definitely probably one of the best family coasters. I'd probably put it up there with Fire Chaser Express at Dollywood. It's not meant to be compared to these huge other GCIs like Mystic Timbers, Prowler, Gold Striker, because those are meant to be these huge, awesome attractions for the thrill seekers. So this really is a perfect fit for Busch Gardens because of the lineup that they currently have, and it just really works at this park. So let's talk about your full experience. When you walk up to the plaza, oh my gosh, Busch Gardens knocked it out of the park with this. You have this fantastic battering ram entrance, lots of fort-like theming with these wooden spokes popping out. There's a log cabin for the photo booth and station, and it really fits well with the area because you already had kind of lots of wood theming there, so having a wooden coaster just makes perfect sense. And looking back, that area really did need a facelift, and this was exactly what they needed. It was kind of shoved into a tight space, but I think it really works there. New France looks so much better with Invader. Walking under the used-to-be male, now female battering ram, you're going to find your entrance to the left, and you have your queue line, which wraps right up against the station, and the lift hill's kind of in that little gap. If there's a downside to the queue line, is that you can't really get any good views of the roller coaster there. You can kind of get a decent view when you go up the stairs leading into the station, but all of your photo ops that you're going to get are going to be from the train, not really from the queue line. So you get into the station, and what's cool is that they've had all the rows labeled 1 through 8 on these Viking shields. So again, completely going all out with the theming. Looks super good. You're going to pick your train, you have the Viking ship and the bear head, both look awesome, and then you begin your ride. You're going to take a right-hand turn out of the station, go up the lift hill, you start going kind of fast, then you slow down a bit, then you start building up more speed as you're going up. You go into this flat dip and you take this left-hand turn. It's not banked or anything, you're staying flat, but it kind of sets the tone for the ride because you start building up a little bit more speed, and I think it's better that way than going straight out of the lift hill into the drop, because this is a good way for it to kind of build up a little bit momentum. And then you enter the tunnel, which leads you into the drop. And at first, I wasn't sure how I felt about making the drop enclosed, but after I rode it a few times, I actually really like it. One, having an enclosed drop makes it good for the Kings Mill area because it reduces noise, but I like it because it makes you feel like you're going a lot faster than you actually are. I mean, if you look at the stats, the max speed is only 48 miles per hour, and I will say, if you're in the back, I would say that it doesn't feel like you're going as fast as in the front. So I personally prefer the front row over the back because I think you're getting a lot more speed in the front, or at least it feels that way. The first time I rode it in the back, and I was I enjoyed it, but the more I rode it, the more I liked it. So continuing on, you exit this tunnel and go underground under this service road. And this is a really cool moment because you're going from dark to light and then back into dark. But when you're going under that service road, there is this bar that is this awesome hand chopper element. You feel like if your hands are in the air, you could reach out and touch this thing because this is a really good near miss, guys. I think if there was any surprise to this coaster, that was it. I was not expecting there to be a head chopper there, but there is, and I love it. So exiting out of that tunnel, you go into your first bank turn. This is a fun moment, and then from there on out, you're going to cross over the railroad tracks, go into some airtime hills, another bank turn. Continue with some more airtime moments. You're going to pass back over the train tracks. This does cross over the train 4 times, and you're going to go into some more airtime moments. This coaster has 9 airtime moments. And what's fun is that the last one is actually this cool ejector bunny hill. that sends you straight into this Helix. And to my understanding, the Helix is actually the second fastest moment during the ride. And this is great because of the terrain. The Helix isn't on flat ground. You're gonna pop up and then go down on this curving Helix. Like, talk about ending the ride with a bang. That's a great moment, and then you slide into the brakes. Overall, Invader is a really fun coaster. I can't emphasize enough, this coaster really is something for everyone. In terms of smoothness, of course, it's brand new from GCI. I'd say it's smooth. It's not going to be as smooth as the steel coaster, obviously, or I'd say even an RMC. A lot of these RMC Woodies are going to be smoother. But when you compare it to other GCIs, yeah, this is a smooth ride. As with a lot of wind coasters, I'd say probably a bit smoother in the front. I think if I had to say a complaint, it's that because of the restraints and these Millennium Flyer trains, it's a little bit hard to get airtime. These aren't restraints that, like, as soon as they're in place, they're gonna stay there. Like, if you come up out of your seatbelt, they're gonna kind of lock down because of those positive G-forces, and they're gonna go lower if possible. So, like, if you try to scoot forward to give yourself a little bit more wiggle room, you'll find that the restraint will come down farther on you, like, as soon as you scoot back when you hit those positive G-force moments. So, like, I don't have any problem with the airtime hills, but it's a little tricky to get airtime on this ride. It might be a hit or miss. I think also your body size probably has something to do with that. That was just something that I observed. But speaking of the restraints, this is one of the only GCI coasters that doesn't have a seatbelt, which I don't really think that affects the ride experience. The seatbelt has never been anything that, like, I feel like prohibits me from getting airtime when I talk about the airtime on other GCIs. So I don't really look at that as a pro or a con. If anything, it should just speed up operations because that's one less thing that the ride ops have to check. But to just kind of wrap this up, is Invader a good ride? Yes, it is. Is it going to blow you away? Maybe, maybe not. I think it really just depends on where you set your expectations. If you go in expecting Mystic Timbers, you're not going to get Mystic Timbers. Remember that this is a family coaster, and when you compare it to other family coasters, it's a really good family coaster. Busch Gardens did a great job with it. It has the theming, it has the interactivity with the log flume and the train, works with the landscape and the terrain around it. It has some good speed. I wouldn't say that it's very intense, but GCI does well of having one element right after another, creating an action-packed ride that, yeah, the kids are going to like too. I think one thing people are going to ask is, do you like Invader over Tempesto? Which, again, Busch Gardens just added that in 2015. And yes, I would say Invader is better than Tempesto. I mean, they're two very different types of coasters, and I still need to ride Invader a few more times. As of when this video is being made, I've only ridden it 4 times about. So Tempesto, I've ridden more. But again, this is like one of my home parks, so I'll be riding both coasters a lot more often. So overall, go out and check out Invader at Busch Gardens. It's a great ride. Bring the whole family. They're all going to enjoy it. So for its final score, I'm going to give it a solid 7. And the only reason why it's not getting higher is because the coasters that get higher scores are going to be like the really thrilling rides. As far as family coasters go, this is definitely towards the top. But in general, I think you all are really going to like Invader. So let me know in the comments below what you think of this ride. Do you agree with my thoughts? If you haven't ridden it yet, but are riding it this summer, let me know about if you're excited for it or not. And of course, stay tuned for more coaster reviews here at Coaster Studios.